folks.
Just the first.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Londonderry Budget Committee to order at 7:01 p.m. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Hey, there we go. That's going to make it a heck of a lot easier. So, can I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Seeing no one wanting to speak during public comment, can I have a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative. All right, so for the meeting minutes, have you all had an opportunity to go over those?
Yes.
So I just want to confirm, let me pull those up now. So at the end, did I not make motion for public comment open? I don't, or did because there was no one else in
There
here?
was no one here.
There was nobody
And then
here
we
at
just-
the end.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
I mean, I could double check the recording after, if you want.
Well, if
But yeah, I think.
yeah, because I thought that was the case, but it was late. I just want to make sure that was certain. All right. Besides that, I didn't have any other issues with the minutes. Anyone else?
No.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the Londonderry Budget Committee minutes for January 13th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative. The minutes are approved. So, how I'd like to structure this today. So, first we're going to go through the school district warrant articles. So what I'll do, and I just want to check with the guys in the school district. Do you want me to read the entirety of the article in my motion for?
I'm gonna
For
say
whether-
no.
No,
Yeah.
I do.
No, that's
do
okay.
I'm
So-
recording the vote.
Okay, perfect. So all I'll do is I'll just read out I'll open it for discussion amongst the budget committee. We'll see if this will connect. This won't connect. And then after we've had our discussion, I'll read what the motion would be. So I'd like to make a motion that the budget committee supports article, whatever it is. And then, one of you will move, one of you will second, and then we'll go ahead and vote. If there is no motion or second, so if no one's going to support the article, I'll then make a new motion to, how would I word that? How we did it last year. And I cannot for the life of me recall how.
Good evening. John, there's a seat over here. John,
Here, here.
thank you.
Or you can take one of these, yeah.
Careful of the wires.
I don't know. Do you need a motion for every single thing?
Oh, for our votes?
Yeah, like for, against, and then for, and then for,
Yeah, for against.
against, and then yeah.
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 Yeah, I guess I'll just do it like. We'll just do it like that. Well, I'm not reading out the whole article. We'll just.
So, clarification for those of us who haven't done this before. Are
Yeah.
you proposing a different process than what the town council did last night to recommend or not each article?
Oh, recommend or not recommend. Those words escaped to me. I apologize.
Same
It's
here.
complete lack of
Same here.
So, so what will happen is I'll open up for discussion. I'll make, then once discussion is finished, I'll ask for the motion to recommend the article, and then if no one moves, then I'll make a motion to not recommend. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So,
What would that mean, though, a motion to not recommend? Would that mean like a 0 to 5 budget committee would be registered?
yes, or if there's any abstentions. So what would happen, so let's just say I make the motion to not recommend, I second, and then you would say yay to not recommend the article. And you would say,
Try not to overcomplicate
Yeah.
it. To the
Yes.
best of our ability.
So let's,
So yes
Okay.
means, okay.
alright, so first, for the school district warrant,
I'm a little confused, Joe. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
Mr. Squilark, so what we'll be doing, we will be, first I'm gonna open up for each article discussion amongst the budget committee. And then I will be making a motion to recommend the article, on the warrant.
Asking for motion.
Yeah, I'll ask for the motion, it'll be moved by and seconded by the members, and then we'll record our votes.
Okay.
Alright, is that,
That
Good.
sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
alright?
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and then for both of your articles, since they're citizens petitions, the first thing I want both of you to present, and then we're first going to discuss if the budget committee should even have our votes recorded on the ballot, and should the budget committee, should there be a majority that recommends it, then we will vote whether or not we recommend it, the article itself. So, let's start off. So, school district, Article 2, general fund, the operating budget. So for, just so you know, a yay vote would be for option A, the school board budget. Nay on this would be a vote for the default budget. Is there any discussion on the school district operating budget?
Terrific job.
Yep.
Yeah, forgot to say, that was good. Alright, then can I have a motion to recommend Article 2, general fund operating budget?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative.
70.
Article 3, special article, full day kindergarten. I'll open this for discussion.
No brainer.
Yep.
That's awesome job from all of you at the school district and on the school board. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can someone move that, like to make a motion to recommend Article 3, special article, full day kindergarten.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative. Article 4, Londonderry Custodians, AFS CME Local 18011 Bargaining Agreement. Is there any discussion? Alright, can I have a motion to recommend Article 4, Londonderry Custodians, AFS CME Local 18011 Bargaining Agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 5, authorization of special meeting on cost items. Any discussion here?
I think we're all discussed out.
I know.
Yeah.
Go on.
Alright, can I, like to, just wanna make the motion to recommend Article 5, authorization of special meeting on cost items.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative. Article 6, school lunch programs and federal funds projects. Any discussion here? Again, very straightforward, accepting funds. Alright, can I have a motion to recommend Article 6, school lunch program and federal funds projects?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 7, special article, district town agreement, RE leases of offices. Any discussion here?
Another great job.
Yes,
Good
on seven.
collaboration.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Need creativity on this one.
Yep.
Alright, then can I have a motion to recommend Article 7, special article, district town agreement, RE leases of offices?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 8, special article, buildings and grounds, capital reserve fund. Any discussion? Okay, then can I have a motion to recommend Article 8, special article, buildings and grounds, capital reserve fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 9, special article, district technology, network infrastructure, capital reserve fund. Any discussion? Alright, seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article 9, Special Article, District Technology Network Infrastructure Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Article 10, Special Article, Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion? Okay, then can I have a motion to recommend Article 10, Special Article, Equipment Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 11, Special Article, Vehicle and Machinery Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion here? Alright, then can I have a motion to recommend Article 11, Special Article, Vehicle and Machinery Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 12, Special Article, the Employees Benefits Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion?
I just have one quick question on this one, and maybe to Amity or Bob. I know we had talked about, let's say, the little surprise that happened this year with the insurance assessment, and compared to that amount, this amount is pretty small. Are your thoughts or plans that in future years this capital reserve fund might get boosted stepwise?
Yep.
Okay.
And our other hope was when we got those premium holidays that we return to offset rates. In the future now, when we have a capital reserve set up, we could put a return into the capital reserve to hold on for a bad year to come.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And just again, nice job on the schools that have putting this together, protecting the taxpayer. Alright, so can I have a motion to recommend Article 12, Special Article, the Employee Benefits Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 13, Acceptance of Donations. Any discussion? And again, this will be a phenomenal way to generate funds and accept these donations, put them towards different large-scale projects. Again, the creative thinking from school board, school district. Thank you for that. This will be something nice. Instead of always having to come to ask the taxpayer, so this will be good. Alright, can I have a motion to move Article 13, Acceptance of Donations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative. Okay, Article 14, Citizens Petition Warrant Article. And Paul, this was yours?
Yes.
So would you like to come up and speak to the...
Sure.
Yeah, you can just
I need to
grab...
go somewhere?
Sure, and then Kate or someone move a mic close to Paul, just so we're sure that folks at home can hear.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course.
So as I mentioned during the school board meeting, there was this tax cap discussion that came up last year, and that Christine Perez brought forward. That was something that's promoted throughout the state as a potential, that there would be caps on the amount of property tax monies that could go toward public education. And at that point, I was very vocal coming out against it. It ended up going to the ballot as a study eventually. And I know that the school district did that study, conducted the study, concluded that the idea of a cap was not workable for a whole host of reasons, and also concluded that it would, in essence, would probably actually raise the amount of monies that were going to be needed for property tax in order to sustain good working public education in town, among other things. So the reason I did this is there was also HB 675 you've heard about at the state level, which would provided a mandatory cap on the amount of property tax that could go toward public education locally. As you think you've heard from Christine Perez, that was eventually voted down overwhelmingly at the state level. But at this point, I'd already moved forward with my petition. We garnered, I think, something like 60 signatures within a few days to make sure that the town hopefully will speak out clearly that caps are not a good idea for our town, for the loss of local control, for the fact that it could also have the opposite effect that it was trying to achieve, that you don't know what kind of expenses that our school district is going to face and have some arbitrary cap that was linked to the CPI or some other mechanisms was just not workable. And so for that reason, I thought it was important, a group of people thought it was important, not just me, that we have this petition come out. It's a matter of gauging public sentiment, and then once that comes out, I think it'll send, if people vote in favor of it, it'll send a clear message to the state legislature, particularly our state legislators, that it's not something that the town of Londonderry is supportive of. And that's the essence of it. So, do you have any
thank
questions
you.
about it?
So yeah, so first questions before we discuss whether or not what actions we're going to take. If you have any questions, that's Paul.
And if I may, Joe.
Yes.
So I believe that the school board took votes on this. I think this is budgetary because I think there's a lot of monies that we're talking about here that could be potentially impact the school district. And I think as a budget committee, it's important that you guys be fully involved in all aspects of monies being raised and monies being expended within the school district or within the town. And I think it's important for you guys to take a firm position. I don't know why you wouldn't, quite frankly.
All right.
I firmly disagree.
So we're going to, so let's get into those discussions then about whether or not we should vote, whether or not our vote should appear on the warrant. So Sarah, do you want?
Sure. So last year we did not take a vote on the budget cap. As a committee, we chose not to go that route. This is theory-based. This is just state-based. We only focus on local stuff. Our actual budget is what we should focus on.
Anyone else?
I think it's got an immediate, it doesn't have an immediate impact, but it could have a impact down the road fiscally. I disagree. I think we probably should have our votes.
I'm comfortable voting on it if that's the way we go, so, I mean.
I'm open to either, but
Yeah.
I do think it does have a financial impact.
I
think
see
so,
I
too.
see both sides, but I'm comfortable voting.
So my one thing where there isn't should this article pass, there is not an impact on the budget. The things that we vote on have impacts on the budget. And because in prior years we have not voted on citizens petitions warrant articles, even the ones that would have impacts on the budget, but there is no actual budget impact listed in the article. I think it's important as a committee, when the voters come and they see our votes, they're wondering, they know that when the budget committee is left off of an article, they know that there's no value assessed to that. I think it's important that we only vote on those matters where value is assessed, where taxes could be raised, lowered, however, changed. And this isn't, about the article itself, but I don't think it is wise, for the budget committee to take a vote on it, where it's not going to affect money spent. So those are my thoughts. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll just challenge that a little bit. I think, what I'm hearing as reasons not to vote really allude to what we've done in the past, and I agree that consistency in some scenarios, of course, is important. But I think here it really, it will impact the budget if certain things, I get it, it's theoretical like you're saying, right? But I just feel like, is the reason just because we didn't do it before a good enough reason not to? Because I think it's important to have a voice around this topic.
Well, I think, because there's a difference between us individually, because any of us can speak at deliberative to
Sure.
or against it. Any of us can write letters to the editors, post on social media, if we agree or disagree with the language and the purpose of the warrant article. But as a budget committee, we're giving recommendations on a statement: do we believe school budget decisions should remain with local voters rather than be restricted by a statewide one-size-fits-all spending cap? So it's just to whether we recommend that they agree to that statement, where this article is to gauge support amongst how the voters feel, and I think part of it defeats the purpose of its intent if we give our recommendations in favor or against, because this article is trying to gauge public support. Us putting our votes on it, right? We're going to end up putting our thumb on the scales one way or another, because the voters they look to our recommendations, and I do not believe that we should be influencing this citizens petition warrant article. Right, any other comments?
I would tend to agree with that for two very specific reasons. One is because the tax impact is zero. We're a budget committee, and I kind of believe in not horning in where we don't have an immediate, obvious remit. The other one is because, personally, I see a risk that having a voice on this one makes us look a little partisan. And forgive me, but I'm just going to reference the text of your article. When you use a word like restricted by a stateside, that is, there's just a whiff of taking a side there, which is fine, it's your article, but from a budget committee perspective, there I would be careful. And I will just say here, if the budget committee decides to take a vote on this, I will abstain on it for those reasons.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, can I have a motion to, what do I want to phrase this? Can I have a motion for the budget committee to vote on whether or not we will recommend Article 14?
So moved.
Second.
And this, I want to be clear, this is just a motion on whether or not we will
Vote
then
on
take
it.
next steps to vote.
Yep.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
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 And the chair votes in the negative. Paul, thank you for
Okay.
coming here and taking your time to.
You're also gonna vote on the,
Yes, we'll be doing.
Okay,
We're
so-
going to be doing them separately.
I'll stick around here then, okay.
All right. Tiffany, come forward. All right. So, would you like to give us an overview of your citizens
Yeah.
petition warrant article?
Let me give my little spiel. Okay, so Article 15 is about the education freedom account. So the warrant article is basically asking voters to express support for greater fiscal and educational accountability in New Hampshire's education freedom account program. So pertaining to this committee, more on the fiscal responsibility side of things. So education, for those on the web, Education Freedom Account, or EFA program, also known as school vouchers, originally created for the intent of expanding educational opportunities. Recently in June, the structure of the program has changed significantly. They removed the recent removal of income eligibility limits. The state data has shown for this current 25-26 school year, only about 3% of the EFA recipients had actually attended a public school the year prior before taking the EFA, which means that about 97% of students receiving the EFA funding were already enrolled in private schools or homeschooling before entering the program. So it's essentially funneling money out of our public school systems into these vouchers. And this matters to Londonderry taxpayers because the EFA funding comes from our public education funds and ultimately the taxpayers. And New Hampshire is constitutionally bound to provide an adequate public education via public schools. So diverting these funds from public schools puts strains on our budget and our taxpayers, and ultimately students pay the cost. Most problematically, there's no requirement for the EFA program to provide the same transparency in spending or performance reporting that the public schools must follow. It's projected to cost the state tens of millions of dollars over the next 2 years without any new revenue sources identified. So the warrant article gives the Londonderry voters the opportunity to send a message to our legislators that we want public accountability for the public dollars. So knowing how the other warrant article, I would just say that the pressure, so EFA, when it comes to the budget committee and however you want to decide on whether or not to put the vote on here, even if, no child in Londonderry uses an EFA, which is probably not the case, but again, there's a lack of reporting, any sort of, the pressure shifts to local property taxes with the EFA. And in the warrant article, we're basically asking legislators to have accountability for their reporting and also to put the limit back on to the spending cap, which was removed in June. There were previously two limits that they had, so we're just asking them to reevaluate for the taxpayers of Londonderry. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. So I'm curious, do you have data, I don't know if the state provides this, that says, let's say if you have a timeline on a graph and there's a line where EFA started, how the the state portion of the property tax to Londonderry may have changed before versus after the EFAs were started?
The EFA program in general,
Yes.
I don't know if they have that. I can probably find that for you. I don't know, Kate, if you have a magical.
So
I can-
that's what-
I'm good with data, but I can't pull them out
The
of my
question
butt.
is, EFAs started, I believe, in
I try really
2021.
hard not to do
And
that.
so there, of course, the town of Londonderry, prior to that, got the state portion of the property, property tax for education. And of course, there's a trend over time. So I was curious, just like with the other analyses we've done here, here's a trend, there's an event, what happens after that event? Does the does the slope increase? Does the slope stay the same? Or does the slope bend down? And if there's not financial data that says that the EFAs adversely affect those property tax money flows, that's what I'd like to know.
We do know from other towns in other places that have done this that it did impact. I'm trying to remember, there were a few like pretty well-known ones, weren't there, previously? But I don't have that information right here. But I remember there was like an issue because it sucked up all the money in some other communities.
Before we
So,
go too far down the road, should we decide if we're even gonna have a say in this, or?
Agreed.
All right, so let's move straight into any other discussion. Is there any discussion on whether or not we should vote on Article 15?
I think the same logic applies.
All right. Then can I have a motion to recommend Article 15, citizens? Nope. Can I have a motion? I almost cut myself there. Can I have a motion on whether the Budget Committee should vote on whether or not we will recommend Article 15, citizens petition warrant article?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
nay.
The chair votes in the negative. No, I want to thank, Paul, Tiffany, I want to thank you guys for coming. I also felt since the only time we heard you present was last week, and while all these other articles we've heard presented over and over and over again over the past couple months, that would be beneficial for the Budget Committee to hear from you one last time.
We appreciate the time.
All right, thank you so much. So that concludes the schools.
One
Hey.
now.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got the easy one
I
out of the
know.
way.
It's always the easy one.
All right, so Amy, do you have everything that you need from us?
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. If you have questions between now and deliberative, please reach out. Yeah, these guys have done important work.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now we are going to move on to the town warrant articles. Bear with me while I open up.
Starting off with a doozy.
Yeah.
Like Sean's approach last night.
What is the first one? What are you talking about?
Probably four.
More meeting, more in.
Oh,
Warrant updated.
I see what you mean.
Yep.
One. All right, so it's gonna be the same process here that we did for the schools. So,
Are you reading the amounts for these?
no,
No.
where we've got them up here, and we've got them in front of us.
Oh,
Hey, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I literally thought you meant article number 1. I was like, what?
Oh,
Okay, sorry. I'm really effing tired.
yes, me too.
Go on.
All right, so, I'd like to open up for discussion, article number 4, bond issue for Morrison Meeting House. I have my thoughts on this, I'll let you guys kick it off.
I think we said what we needed to say.
Last
Yeah,
week.
exactly.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
thoughts. I don't feel like talking about it.
Okay.
I think for me, I appreciate Sean's approach last night as this should be the public's decision.
Yep.
When it comes to the dollar amount, I think that dollar amount is legitimate.
Yep.
Knowing the cost for these type of things.
Yep,
That is 100% a good
Yep.
number.
yep,
So if the idea is to salvage this building, then we should do it. But are there more important needs right now?
yes,
Most likely, yeah.
DPW
Or in the
facility,
future, right?
water
Yep.
system.
Right.
yep,
So that's, I'm very much struggling with this one.
yeah, same.
Yeah, where I would have liked to, I mean, I'll quote the town council chairman last week, where I would have liked to have seen an approach that perhaps was a little bit more open would be, is there a way that the town could consider monetizing or selling this property, perhaps with covenants to ensure its historical nature?
Yep,
Are there ways that we could have gone out and looked for grants now that we have a construction proposal in hand? Are there things we could have done before going straight to the taxpayer and asking the taxpayer to put between this one, 3.3 million plus interest payments, and then probably the other one that's almost $1 million onto the town's credit card? I mean, we have the water system coming at us, we've got the DPW building coming at us. Those are needs. With all due respect for the historicity of this building, this is a want to me.
Yeah, for all the time we've been talking about this, to not really have a plan
Plan?
outside of,
Yeah.
well, we could do X, Y, and Z, to not have some sort of,
And we don't,
something on paper to quantify what the benefit would be
yeah,
yes,
and potential revenue drivers for us.
exactly.
yep. And I'm struggling with the idea that we cut $400,000 from the operating budget just to add money back into the budget that will end up being an eventual operating cost. I'm very much struggling with that.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. That's all I've been thinking when going, taking a look at the cost for this project.
And unknown costs at that, right? Like, who's
Right.
gonna clean, like, there's not magical cleaning fairies gonna show up overnight and make sure that the building stays clean, that the,
I'd hire them.
right, I would too.
Well, yeah, and you have to keep it heated all the time,
Yep.
not
Right.
just when people are using it,
Right.
'cause it's pipes freeze things.
Yep.
Just stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Needs.
So, yeah, it's an ongoing operating unknown ongoing operating cost.
Yeah.
That scares me a little.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing new to add to that. You all have good the
Yeah.
sentiments that I've been thinking throughout this. So, if there's no other discussion,
Nope.
someone make the motion to recommend Article number 4, bond issue for Morrison Meeting House.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
The chairman votes in the negative.
Can I abstain?
Yes, if you would
I
like to
abstain.
abstain. So we have, again, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4.
052.
Okay.
So 5 nays,
And two
2
abstentions.
abstentions. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was
Also,
a hard one
Nicole,
for me.
for recording the vote for the minutes, could you break out when, especially when there's an instance of a split, who voted which way?
Yes, Kate was kind enough to give me her
I have a spreadsheet
spreadsheet that she
used
used
last year.
last year.
Oh, perfect.
So it records all the votes of all the people.
Nice.
Perfect. At any point, if you want me to pause so that you can catch up, just let me know.
Okay, so for this one though that we just did, Kate was abstain and Ryan was abstain, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and everybody else was nay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Right, we do not vote on Article 5.
Nope.
Article 6, fiscal year 2027 town operating budget. I'm opening up for discussion.
We did it, guys.
I'd say great work.
We made it through.
In my years being on here, usually what happens is the town council will say, hey, can you find anything to cut? We come back with a bunch of recommendations, things that make sense. They say, thank you very much, we're just gonna take a percentage off out of the budget. Or I say, hey, town manager, figure out, take 100-something thousand and just,
Yep.
you figure it out. What we were able to do, all of us together, is provide a detailed cuts with explanations and reasons why they wouldn't impede the town's ability to operate, our emergency services and whatnot. So just great job. I mean, this is hours and hours of work from everyone here. So thank you for that. Any other discussion? All right. So then can I have a motion to recommend Article number 6, fiscal year 2027 town operating budget?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 7, construction of school district office, opening up for discussion.
7 and 7, right, Kate?
7,
Yep,
7.
Mhm.
fits easy on a sign. Alright, any other discussion? Alright, then can I have a motion to recommend Article number 7, construction of school district office?
So moved.
Second.
Oh.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative.
7 for 7 and 7.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Wow.
Alright, Article number 8.
Put that in the annual report.
Article 8, the expendable maintenance trust fund. Any discussion? Alright,
Oh, I
seeing,
can see.
okay. Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 8, expendable maintenance trust fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article number 9, roadway maintenance expendable trust fund. Any discussion? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 9, roadway maintenance expendable trust fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 10, fire department truck capital reserve fund. Any discussion?
This one, to me is a need. We heard last night, I had also researched this, there's only 3 companies that still make these trucks. The longer, and the wait time is many months to years, so let's just get this done.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 10,
So
fire department truck capital reserve fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article number 11, fire department equipment capital reserve fund. Any discussion?
Also a need.
Yeah, I have to say, great scheme from those on the town side, everyone involved to, hey, this is correct, the funds that are being put together for the PFAS-free equipment for the fire department?
I thought these
Nope,
are
this
these are
Defibrillators.
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 Yeah.
Defibrillators.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
that one,
actually, the fire truck capital reserve
yeah,
is what allowed us to do the PFAS equipment. Because
Okay.
we're gonna have 700,000,
Uh,
if that passes, we're now able to finance less, and that appropriation we can then put towards the PFAS equipment.
okay,
Got it.
We lost it.
yeah.
Okay, that's actually, I kind of see that as a positive then, because that means that you have the autonomy to move ahead with the PFAS thing. I mean,
Exactly.
that's like the most safety critical one for the firefighters.
Exactly, and it's one where they originally, my understanding was the equipment wasn't modernized, where even though it was PFAS free, it didn't provide the safety level.
Mm.
That has since changed, so they're now comfortable moving forward to it, so it provides the safety short-term and long-term, which is huge. And
Excellent.
the problem is, you're looking at 2 sets of equipment for everybody,
Mhm.
which isn't cheap, so we would have had to roll it out slowly, and then it becomes a who gets it, who doesn't, how do you. So being able to do this, where we just do it all at once, and then we put it on a scheduled replacement, it'll be big for them and provide the safety for them going forward.
Awesome. Great job.
Any other questions or discussion on Article 11?
So just for clarity, the entire amount is to pay for, I forget how many defibrillators we heard, but basically
11,
this.
I think.
So the entire amount isn't to pay for it, a significant portion of it is.
Okay.
And the plan is, this is one where the vendor we've worked with before has offered a 0% interest. So we're hoping that they'll honor that again, so that way we're able to put this money in here, it'll earn interest in this account. We'll make the payments pulling it out, while it's still earning interest, and we know that we need to replace the SCBA's in 4 to 5 years.
Mm.
So that way, when that one comes due, hopefully it'll be lesser because of the interest we've earned on this.
Brilliant. I love the arbitrage. Excellent.
Any further discussion on Article 11? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 11, Fire Department Equipment Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 12, Information Technology Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion?
So just for the record, this would be to replace the ERP system, is that correct? Okay.
Yes, the finance includes
Yeah.
the HR program, people, all of it.
Okay. So, I mean, I support this. Our town needs to modernize its systems and, you know,
Well, and they're also not selling it as far as next year, correct?
Not supported.
No, they haven't for a while.
They're-
We're the only
okay.
ones
They're
left.
supporting it still, but they're not
No.
selling it, so
I
it's just
see.
a matter of time before they say.
The concern is the security patches, they'll no longer provide those, and then we're gonna be in trouble. And if NHRS changes the format by which we have to send our reports, we're gonna be in trouble, because then, they're not gonna be able to do that.
Exactly.
And it takes 18 months to get a new system up and running,
Mm.
so we're already behind the eight ball.
Any other discussion or questions on Article number 12? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 12, Information Technology Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 13, Recreation Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 13, Recreation Capital Reserve Fund to...
So moved.
That's the way, yeah, that's...
I interrupted you once, I'm not
No.
doing it again.
I know you're good.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Yeah, no, I don't know why I did my, I just must be the lack of sleep that. Alright, Article number 14, Pillsbury Cemetery Expansion Capital Reserve Fund. Any discussion?
I apologize if I missed this last night, but why did one of the town councilors vote against this?
I don't think they explained.
They did not.
Okay.
In prior years.
Mm-hmm.
But my
Oh,
There've been
memory is
discussion.
pretty fuzzy right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
I don't
I,
remember next, yeah.
They
There
didn't
was no
explain.
discussion.
there was no discussion. It was
Okay.
just up,
Just
down.
hammering them through.
Yep.
How much is in this capital reserve fund right currently?
That would be,
Would that be in the packet that you sent us?
I don't believe so, it's $524,727.
And so, do I remember correctly that part of the issue with the Pillsbury Cemetery is that we're running a little tight on space there, and we had to impose some limits on, you know, you had to be, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And-
And the other aspect is, give me 1 second, I can tell you how much it cost for the expansion last time. Back in, I wanna say about 2019, 2018, I wanna say it was about $450, but give me a second, I can actually pull that information for you.
Well, he's doing that, we're also looking at columbariums, those are the little niches,
Mm.
so that obviously creates density and reduces the amount of space that you need. And those are expensive to construct.
I have to say it's probably a good idea to do it, because people are probably just dying to get in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I need a good joke.
That was a dad joke for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. Hey, I'm out of practice, all my kids are grown.
No, I like it.
So back in 2019, you were looking at around, and this is approximate, about 400,000.
To expand it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that was, what, 6-7 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Any other discussion on Article 14? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 14, Pillsbury Cemetery Expansion Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes in the affirmative. Article 15, Cable Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. Discussion. Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 15, Cable Equipment Capital Reserve Fund?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes in the affirmative.
I'm an abstention on that one.
Okay, one abstention. Article 16, Fire Department, add one full-time executive assistant. Discussion.
Mr. Town Manager, has the incoming fire chief weighed in on these two positions?
He has, we talked about it during the hiring process, in terms of what prioritization was, and we had that whole discussion, do you put more boots on the ground? You need to support people in the first place, you can't keep adding boots without being able to do that, and he agreed this was the appropriate course of action.
Yeah, I think this is tough. We just added, is it 3 firefighters?
Five.
Five firefighter last year. Well, it would have, yeah,
Yeah.
a year and a half ago.
That was 4.
No.
Oh, it was 5?
Yeah, I guess I had heard, and Ryan, I know you're the liaison to the fire department, right? And so certainly you're more informed than me. I had heard, some justification that precisely because of this and future growth and the growth of the town, the rationale is that both of these positions, this one and the next one, are needed to stick with that growth, not only, and especially with the next one, to take care of the safety of the fire department, both for the firefighters as well as for the town.
Yeah.
That said, it is, some
Yeah,
good amounts.
I did asked some resources in other surrounding towns, and the executive assistant definitely is standard for a department this size. From what I gathered, the training officer typically is a uniformed firefighter or whatever you want to call it. It's part of the rotation per se. So that one I'm having a little time getting to, or a harder time getting around. But the executive assistant, from what I can gather, is definitely a standard position.
Research.
I have another question for you for the next article, but I'll hold off pending, Mr. Chair, your progress through this one.
All right. Is there any other discussion on Article 16? All right then. And I have a motion to recommend Article number 16, Fire Department, add 1 full-time executive assistant.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article 17, Fire Department, add 1 full-time fire training officer. Discussion.
So my question to you, Ron, and maybe also weigh in from the town manager, you just, and this was spoken about last night, also said the training officer will also be a boots on the ground. Is the implication of that, and I'm speaking from ignorance here, or asking, that this officer would some of the time do the trainings and some of the time essentially be another firefighter?
So my interpretation of it would be, this person would, so we have a rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 13? 13 firefighters, or 13 per battalion.
It's 12 per battalion with 1 battalion
That's it.
chief for a
Correct.
total of 13.
Yeah. This person, in theory, could fill in for a vacancy during a rotation, or
Believe so.
potentially.
That's what they
But
said.
but when you add a person, when you add a body, you can't add 1 body to a rotation because there's 4 shifts or whatever. There's 4 groups,
Mm-hmm.
so you're adding 4 at a time to extend the manpower, as it were.
So is the idea that this officer could stand in if one of the regular crew is sick or something like that?
That was my interpretation of what was
So
discussed.
the discussion was they wanted the captain or battalion chief, and I said no. It should be a lower level position to be able to cover it, because during the daytime is when the most volume of calls come in. So this person's gonna be able to respond to calls, and that's why I wanted a lieutenant, not a captain. I don't want somebody sitting in office, so, you have firefighting, the next rank is the lieutenant. So that's why and it's also cheaper to have a lieutenant than it is a captain to be able to do that. But the idea is that's gonna give us 1 additional body during the daytime when we have a lot of call volume out there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then, of course, they can work overtime if necessary too, battalion chiefs do, to cover those shifts. Is that part of that same union?
And also, I was, he mentioned that it affects insurance premiums, the training portion of this, for the ISO rating, and so I did a little bit of research into what that might look like. And so if the ISO rating is a 10, which means the worst, goes to a 5 or on a $500,000 house, if it goes from a 10 to a 5, your premiums would go from about $5,000 a year to about $2,000 a year. So the improvement from a 10 to a 5, now I don't know how much this would affect the ISO rating, so I don't want to, say all of our premiums are going to, anybody who's a homeowner whose premiums are going to drop like substantially, but it does have a pretty decent impact on homeowners insurance rates. There are a variety of other factors, but training does contribute to it, and I believe the firefighter, it says that the fire department itself contributes 50% to the ISO score. So
What's our current score like, given what we are able to do at this point with training.
I don't know. Do we know what our ISO rating is?
I don't know what our score is.
I can take a look, that's one I do not know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because what Kate just said is pretty darn compelling, but it'd be interesting to know if we'd go like from a 5.25 to a 5, or from a 9 to a 5.
Yep.
Just so you know, I mean, it does make a difference, but it's not that significant.
Oh, okay.
I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure, you know, I don't know what our rating is here, I don't pay attention to it for that reason.
Okay.
It does have an incremental change, but it doesn't, the other reason why health insurance, house insurance has gone up is because of floods and hurricanes across the other parts of the country,
Yep.
so they're making up for that.
Okay.
That's really what that cost is, and the cost gone up for that.
Okay.
It does help, but it's not.
Okay.
significant.
And safety is probably the bigger,
Really,
impetus
that's
here
the
anyway.
Yeah.
compelling reason is
Yeah.
that the bigger compelling reason, we've got, without getting into great detail, we've got to properly document our training.
Yep.
And we've got to make an emphasis on it. We have a very young fire department, which is a good thing, but we need to do exercises and training and be ready to deal with different types of disasters and handle those fire scenes.
Yeah.
We know we've identified this as a problem.
Yep.
And when we're doing fire training, when we're burning a building, there's safety protocols that have to be followed, and someone needs to be trained to do that. We've identified that as a problem.
Yep.
So this is a way to do that, and I try to do it in the most cost-effective way, again, by a lower ranking position, and get that focused on, so that by the time we get this person on board within a year, hopefully all of our training records will be where they should be, and we'll meet statutory requirements and regulatory requirements for fire standards and training, and EMS as well, which is another, the QA, QC process we're supposed to be doing. Quality control, when we're doing these medical calls, making sure the right procedures are followed at every single call, and every one of those is evaluated, critically important.
Sorry, so can we just, this person is primarily tracking training, or is this a subject matter expert that is going to be able to run, facilitate these trainings?
So a combination of the two, they have to go to specialized training to be able to run one of those exercises. We need people that do this, so this person would go to that training. But their primary job is to coordinate the training events, making sure people get there, those events, track that training and put it in the file so it gets done properly.
Sounds like something an executive assistant might be able to handle.
Some of those, to a good point in terms of tracking, because we have a new system, it's called Guardian Tracking, where they actually put it in the system. But someone needs to track these people down. Hey, you didn't get your training in, that's required by fire standards and training. But you're right, putting the stuff actually in the system would be the executive assistant. It would be not a good use of someone at that higher pay to be able to do that function.
I don't know, we've just quick math, we've added 150,000 or so in training to the budget over the last 2 years. I'd like to see us, if we're gonna add an executive assistant, lean on that person to handle the administrative and come up with creative ways to fill in the gaps with the existing staff. That's where my mind's at.
Is there any other discussion on Article 17? Seeing,
I'm waiting to hear back from Phil, but from what I'm getting, I have a 5 out of 9, but that was back in 2013, so I don't know what it currently would be
Okay.
for the ISO rating.
Thank you.
thank you, Justin. Alright, seeing no further discussion,
Oh, he just texted me back. I don't know what this means, 4-4Y.
I don't know either. I
That's what it
only,
is.
okay.
now maybe if I start to get into making the motion, he'll text you back again. Alright, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 17, Fire Department, add 1 full-time fire training officer?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. All opposed?
Hey,
Chair votes in the affirmative.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Okay,
She's got
Rebecca
5-2.
and Ryan.
5-2.
Alright. Article number 18, Human Resources Department, part-time Human Resources Assistant, discussion.
Last night, the HR director was asked which one of these I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but if it could be one, which one would it be? If I remember correctly, did she say
It was this
Yeah.
one.
this one, the
Mhm.
assistant? Okay,
Mhm.
thank you for correcting my memory.
I mean, I think the size of the HR department is very small, and
Mhm.
if they've, you know, been growing positions, growing the teams across the board. I mean, that's all work, right? Every time you onboard someone, or someone leaves, or someone complains, or whatever it is, right? And all the benefits.
And
I think it's reasonable to expect that they have
yeah.
like outgrown or not outgrown, but that they're out of time, like in the day with just doing the basics, I think, is what I heard when we were in the room.
I also didn't realize that retiree benefits are still also handled by the same HR department, and there are a lot of people who have retired, and that seems like a pretty big lift. So,
Yeah, I just always have concerns about hiring part-time, retaining part-time, and also having this kind of slip into the budget next year as full-time when the town realizes or thinks the need is more than what they're currently assessing. Those are my hangups. I'm inclined to split the baby here too and go with the more needed position.
poor baby.
It's not very
Right.
HR appropriate.
Exactly why we need this position.
This is what, yeah, exactly. You're doing a full-time position.
You raise a good point, though. So procedurally or legally, if at some point in the future the determination is made that this needs to become a full-time position, will that just be part of the regular budgeting process, or could it or must it come back as a warrant article?
Doesn't have to come back as a warrant
But it
article.
could theoretically.
Yeah, of course it could, if the council at the time wanted it to.
Okay.
But that's at their discretion.
Sure.
I think based on a lot of the conversations we've had, it sounds like Mr. Town Manager would be up to your discretion. If 6 months from now you hired part-time and you wanted to make them full-time, you could do that.
No, I don't think so. And the reason why I say that, this is a warrant article, it's very clear from the voters in this year.
Fair.
So in the next year, yeah, there's nothing that would prohibit that from doing that. I could take money from other places that theoretically do that, so that is correct.
Yeah.
But not during this year.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I thought we took it out of the budget to reduce the amount being raised. I think it's easier to say no to position than to ask a department head to let someone go. Hold off this year, let the HR department get their organized with the resources, the tools that they need, and reevaluate next year.
I don't like spending money, but on this one, I'm inclined, at least for the assistant, to go with the HR director. The second one, I'd be a little more careful about.
Okay.
But this is a part-timer. You know, the flip side of it is also, if it turns out in 6 or 12 months that either the person or the position, because of automation or something, turns out not to be necessary, phasing out a part-time role is probably a little bit more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, these guys manage a lot of risk. They're like risk managers for the town, right?
Mm.
If you think
Yeah.
about it. So it's just, I think we need to be thoughtful about not like, preventing them from having some of the resources that they need to prevent the risk.
Yeah.
Is there any other discussion? Any other questions? Okay, then can I have a motion to recommend article number 18, Human Resources Department, part-time Human Resources Assistant?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Chairman votes in the negative.
And was that the only negative? Is that the only one?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay.
Right, article number 19, Human Resources Department, part-time Human Resources Specialist. Discussion?
I see this also as risk reduction as well. I tend to be almost too risk averse when it comes to stuff. If we have one wrongful termination or sexual harassment case that's mishandled, tens of thousands of dollars. That's my concern, quite honestly. And so 58 grand a year seems like a drop in a bucket compared to one mishandled case. But again, I tend to be pretty risk adverse, so.
That's a great point. So I'm curious, to the extent that it is either appropriate or available, do we know how much of that there has actually been and that's been exacerbated or made worse because of the absence of someone like this?
It's a good question.
So I can answer it a couple different ways. I spent $11,000 by hiring an outside firm to do internal investigation when I first got here. And then we spent, I think it was $20,000 for investigation of a counselor, what I think everybody heard about. And we paid an attorney $256 an hour compared to 40-something per hour to do that. We've got several under investigation right now. I expect another $30,000 or $40,000 I think we're gonna spend on that, which is gonna blow that legal line out of the water. And they just keep coming in.
Is it your expectation that this position could do all of that work?
I had this position, that's exactly what they did. And our costs went from here down to here, and we could demonstrate those numbers.
I guess I'm just surprised to hear that someone, a part-time human resource specialist could do what an attorney does.
That's fine.
Was
That's
it a
my question.
part-time or a full-time person?
Part-time,
Yep.
26 hours a week. He was a retired police chief,
Okay.
quite capable of doing that. I used to do this work as a consultant. And, when I was getting paid $50 an hour at the time to do that quite a few years ago. Now they make $95 an hour, but it's a far cry from the $256 that you're paying. And they also charge you for paralegals on top of that. So there's a lot of cost, and we are shelling out money, and you see it in the legal line, you don't see it anywhere else, and it's mixed in with all the other legal expenses. Nobody's asked the question you just asked, not even counselors, as to how much we've spent on those things. And they add up a lot. In terms of employee issues, I've only been here 8 months, so I haven't had any particular cases where, we did have to do an investigation of an employee that we just terminated. And that one, I had to do it with, I didn't have anybody else available, so the HR director had to set aside everything else she was doing, and she did that, so there was no extra cost to do that one. But they're coming in pretty hot and heavy.
So this just looks like it's employee focused, but it's actually elected people too.
Yep, if there's an investigation, if the council so chooses that, like I said, they have made the decision that they're gonna hire outside legal firms to do that, and we're paying $256 an hour, or $265, depends on which attorney that you have. In one case, we have an investigating attorney, plus we also have our own we're paying, so we're paying for two. So you're talking somewhere up of over $500 an hour is what's being expended.
Holy cow.
Yep.
So what we'll do, Paul's got a question, can I have a motion to open public comment?
Sure, so moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative.
Thank you.
And also just name and address.
Yeah, Paul Scalar, 20 Woodbine Drive. Sean, just curious on that position, are there any certification requirements for that position?
There aren't, it's not a regulated position like a police standards and training position. Usually you see retired law enforcement people that do this work. In fact, all the ones I know, except for one worked for a school district.
Because I would imagine there are protocols around investigations that you gotta follow.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's-
There's a lengthy procedure, very lengthy report writing pieces in that, because all this is subject to legal, contention, so there's a lot of issues involved with that. And proper review techniques, and knowing the statutes, knowing Gary rights, and all those sorts of things, it's rather
So
complicated.
you're typically looking for somebody that has a kind of a background in law enforcement?
Yeah, a retired person preferably, or someone in the insurance industry,
Okay.
people that know how to do investigations, because this also includes workplace investigations, which we have been doing basically an abysmal job of. Because people aren't trained to do it, it's not because they're not good people, they don't know how to do that. Someone needs to look into those, because what you're looking for there is to make sure it doesn't happen again, because they cost a lot of money
Right.
in terms of working with comp claims or citizens being hurt.
Thank you.
So to me, this doesn't seem like a human resources specialist at all. It just seems like an investigator.
With due respect, do we need a motion to close public
Oh,
comment?
okay.
again?
Well, I was actually, yeah, we do. I can have a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Oh, yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chairman votes in the affirmative. Nicole, you would be the second for that. I can't second it.
So,
Oh, okay, thank you.
so given that it's known that there have been 3 complaints filed against a certain board, this person could do those investigations rather than paying for the lawyer that needs to be paid for.
That's why I proposed to do that at 40-something an hour compared to what we're paying for rates.
Yep.
And they're actually trained to do that. Attorneys are not necessarily trained to do investigations. And we're paying them top dollar to do that, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yep.
I'm split on this one.
Any other discussion, any other questions?
I just think for the amount of money that it is, it's worth it for what it could save. This is not a massively expensive position.
We will spend more on this year in legal fees for investigations alone. Never mind, and then they also do background checks.
I suppose it's one of those, you gotta bite the sour apple, so to speak, and you have to convince yourself that this is an unavoidable thing, that this is the, what did they say? Least bad of all the alternatives.
Best bad options.
Yeah.
Yes, least bad option.
Any other discussion, any other thoughts? I mean, do you guys wanna take 30 seconds, let this marinate, or just get right into it?
I will set a timer.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too, but.
Okay, well then let's, so kind of the motion to recommend Article number 19, Human Resources Department, part-time Human Resources Specialist.
So moved.
Second. Sorry, I'm like typing and talking.
Alright, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
I'll abstain.
Sorry. I'll say yay.
Alright, and the chair votes in the negative.
sorry, Ryan, what were you?
I was an A.
Thank you.
So it's what, 4, 2,
2
1?
nays, 1 abstention, 4 yeas.
Yep.
Exactly.
Alright, Article number 20, establish and fund a revolving fund for senior affairs in the senior center under RSA 3195-8. Any discussion here? Alright, seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 20, establish and fund a revolving fund for senior affairs in the senior center under RSA 31:95-A?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article number 21, establish and fund a capital reserve fund for transportation under RSA 35:1. Any discussion here?
So as you pointed out last night, and as we've discussed before, there's a little bit of overlap with the language between this one and the next one. And you did try last night to amend the next one, which did not happen. So,
Because this one here, right, we need to take care of the traffic issues in town.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a step, we've had the traffic committees, we've been, waiting for something to be done, moving forward, getting our step in the right direction. I think this is taking that, first step so that we can start resolving some of these issues, have a fund in place so that we can, each year be given which projects are gonna be coming up so that we can resolve some of the traffic issues in town.
yeah, I agree. I would support this one. The next one I have a little bit of concerns with, but yes, I would support this one.
Any other discussion? Alright, then can I have a motion to recommend Article number 21? Establish and fund a capital reserve fund for transportation under RSA 35:1.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Article number 22, establish municipal and transportation improvement fund under RSA 261:153, Roman numeral 4, and capital reserve 6.
It's okay.
I need new glasses. So I'll restart. So discussion on Article number 22, establish municipal and transportation improvement fund under RSA 261:153, 153, Roman numeral 6, and capital reserve under RSA 35:1. John, you're here. This was brought forward by the Senior Resources Committee. So would you, if you have any discussion, I would go over there so that you can be close to the mic. So I want to thank you for giving the overview that you did last night on where your committee's intentions are.
Please.
Apologies. So I want to thank you for last night giving us the brief of why this was brought forward. I mean, do you wish to reiterate why the Senior Resources Committee is bringing this forward again, or?
Well, if you, if anybody has any questions that weren't answered last night or don't really know, I'll answer them. The reason I came here tonight was really about your last comment that we kind of talked about, and that was your idea of because your amendment failed through the process of going to the council, you brought up the concept of going to try to do that at the town, effectively the town meeting, the deliberative session.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm really here tonight, to understand, why you want to do that.
Sure. Yeah, so I'd be happy to, seeing as, everyone, I think it was just Rebecca that was left. So last night, during the final public comment, I let the town council know my displeasure and the fact that while in years prior, in the normal process, while we are going through the warrants, discussion would be opened up, and if we wanted to, we could make recommendations towards amending warrant articles. If you recall, in the December 1st meeting, when the idea for this article was first presented to the council and the budget committee, during our discussions, there's discussions for maybe reducing the fee amount, and I had made a recommendation there to strike some language from this warrant article. So let me just highlight it now so that we can all see it. So during the public comment, I explained my wishes, why I wish to strike this language. So roadway improvements, signal upgrades, and development of new bicycle and pedestrian paths. During the presentation that we were first given on the first and then given last night from the Senior Resources Committee, their intention and purpose of bringing this article forward was to help fund CART. And in the future, should the council decide to direct the town manager to enter negotiations with expanding CART services, to be able to use these monies to pay for the expansion of services. So that would be adding new days in their rotation, new times to pick up people in their rotation, instead of raising those taxes from property taxes. They would use the funds raised from the $5 increase on motor vehicle registrations to fund it, instead of coming for asking for a property tax increase. That does that hit the nail on the head?
That's
or
the crux of it.
Okay. So during these discussions, any comments were made, well, we could also use it, if there's money left over, use it for roadway improvements, use it for other purposes. That didn't sit well with me. It is my thought that because this article came forward for the sole purpose of funding, which is public transportation, senior public transportation, or for those that do not have the ability to use a motor vehicle to get to where they're going. That was the intention of this. These funds should be restricted for that purpose. And if at a later date, if the people in town wish to, if there's money overflowing in this fund, where, you know, the transportation is taken care of, at that time, then the council should bring this back to the taxpayers to decide if they want to expand the scope of how these funds can be used. I think this language needs to be struck. I do plan on making this amendment at deliberative. I'm not going to touch the dollar amount, but I am going to touch the language.
Sorry, were you, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So
I
I
said something
guess-
before. I do have a question.
Well, let me speak to that.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I appreciate your attention to this and your best intentions. Okay, so to understand where we are on this, okay, we have to go back a ways, okay? We have to go all the way back to last year. I don't know how much you were involved in that understanding, but basically, that language that's in the article right now was the modified language that we ended up going through the process last year.
Yeah.
The important of that is that most of the people on the town council, last year and this year is about the same, okay? And all the town councilmen last year, okay, had no objections to what we were doing. They had no objections to what the warrant article said. Their only objection was that they used the term, we don't want to create any new laws. So what they wanted to do was, or at least not all, but some, they wanted to do this sort of warrant article, which would mean we're trying to run a service and have to put a warrant article every year, which means you can't plan, the whole bunch. So anyway, for us, fast forward to this year, we had this warrant article. What we knew was that we knew the town council would accept that warrant article. What we didn't know whether or not they were going to be, some of them were going to be dead set on, going back again and try to push this through with a warrant article. So we basically had a discussion with all of them, individually and together, several times. And in fact, as I mentioned last night, I sent you an email and asked you if you would like to have us come either individually with you or come to one of your meetings so we could get you in the same place they were. So we ended up with this article that had these extra pieces in it, okay, if you want to call it. Right. And just recently, okay, as we're heading down the road here, the committee started thinking like you were thinking. Well, I shouldn't put words in. I don't know for sure what you were thinking. But basically, we were coming back to two things. Number one, that the basic title of the warrant article didn't really match up with what we were going to do. Okay? And number two, because of the wording of the article, there was a piece in there which was the transportation, which has always been, everybody knew it was what we were going to do with the money. And by the way, in our original warrant article, at the very beginning, we had two things in it. We had the transportation, and we also had pedestrian facilities. And pedestrian facilities basically covered all the kinds of transportation that you could think of that would be associated with people on foot. Okay, so and we liked that because we were concerned about how dangerous the streets were. So we said, we'll use money on that because you can't walk on most of our streets. So anyway, so when we come back to where we are now, okay, we had a lot of discussion back and forth about whether or not we wanted to go in there and tamper with that language. This was over last week, the week before. And as the discussion went along, everybody started coming to the conclusion that leave it alone. Leave it alone, leave the wording alone. We know that that's what's been working so far. What we don't want to do is if we bring up making the change, a similar change to what you're talking about, we run the risk of going backwards. We got it to this point. We didn't want to reopen the big discussion with what I've described as a volatile town council and have this thing back on the table, and we may inadvertently get back to someplace that we didn't want to be. So we left it alone. Now, in terms of the underlying problem that you're worried about, and that is whether or not somebody's gonna come along and start saying, well, I want to use, the roads are all full of potholes and we want to fix all those. And according to this, it looks to me like there's language in there, maybe we can do that. And even if you change, first of all, even if you change the warrant article, that's not really much protection at all, okay? Because that warrant article can be changed. You take that warrant article the way it is now, change one word in it, and you gotta rescind warrant article. So anybody that wants to do it bad enough can just go in next year, just like you said, in the opposite direction, change it or add things in, delete it. That can all happen, and it can happen, but people have to be visual, keep track of those things. But I don't think that's going to happen because this warrant article is unique, okay? It's not like the warrant article you see, you're gonna do a fire engine or whatever, or you're gonna put money on things like that. What we're going to do is create a service, okay? Not a service for 6 months or 1 year, or a forever service. It's a forever service right now, and we're going to expand it, okay? So, and if we move quickly and are efficient in how we move forward with this, okay, and I know we can move quickly, at least on the first year, is we will have more service going on. And the service, if we do it right, will be attractive and efficient, and people will like it. So anybody who wants to go in there and fill potholes with it is going to have to reduce the services. So from a practical point of view, that may be in there, but no one's going to be able to get at any significant amount of that money over the next several years. And so I think that is somewhat of a protection. Now, and I don't know, we thought about changing this, and we bounced back and forth, and we don't really know if people are going to latch on to, well, if that's in there, so they really won't use it for that, this is all a ploy and so on, and I just don't think that, I'm sure there'll be some people that'll be like that, but there'll be people that aren't like that. This is all about, this isn't a money article, remember. This is an article about helping people, seniors, disabled people, and people that can't drive for whatever reason. That's the crux of this article. The other thing you ought to consider is, and you actually touched on this slightly, I couldn't hear the whole thing at the beginning. You're going out of your normal process and what you're supposed to be talking about. This is not a budget item. This is a self-contained article. There's no appropriations in this. There's no budget that's involved in this. Okay, and you're a budget committee. So let me finish. Okay?
Yes, John.
So I think our advice is, we came to the conclusion we'd rather run with it the way it is and not try to change it. We thought changing it was worse than trying to protect ourselves from demons that I don't think are there. Okay, or if they are, they won't be very effective at getting it. So I think I don't want you to taint the well. Okay, we decided not to do this because we were afraid that our warrant article was more precise, but we were afraid of what the reaction would be. Okay, and we didn't know, and we know we got this far with the way it was. We decided to leave sleeping dogs lie, And as much as I appreciate you trying to help us, okay, I think it's really not necessary for you to get into this. You don't have a dog in this fight, really. This is not the budget. This is a completely separate thing. Okay, now, I really appreciate what you're doing, because many years ago, I sat on this committee. And I never actually did much at all with the town, because the town budget was, over the side. When I was on the budgets back in the 80s, it was the school system. Everything was, all the attention went to the school system, because we're just bleeding money with the growth of the town and so on in the school system. And I know how important it is from working back there, because of this committee it's really an advisory committee, okay? It's so important for this committee to have, not to use the words that was used to me one time years ago, and when I came on the board.
So could we just bring it back to the discussion of the
but I am.
article?
I'm trying to say it, I don't think, I'd like you to walk away from your decision. And it was so important. This superintendent of schools said to me, when you first came on here, I thought you were just another hired gun, just trying to get the budget down to lower the taxes. And then, I've been working with him for years, and he said, that's not what you are. And you've been helpful for us, and you gave suggestions to save money. I don't think I ever cut a dime out of the school budget while I was there. But what I did do is help them a lot by saving money and so on. And that's where you should concentrate on things like this. You're getting yourself off track, okay? And I don't want to come back and say, okay, we thought we were there, but, maybe that, what the budget committee, maybe that didn't help, okay? Maybe there's people on there that thought they could use that money this way, and that's why they voted. Okay, I appreciate what you want to do, but I'm not comfortable with what you're trying to do, and we've thought about this a lot.
Thank you, John. All right, so now we're going to bring it back to.
Actually, may I ask a question of John real quick?
Sure.
I'll try to be very brief.
Sure.
I think if I were to guess that one of the justifications for considering a change at the deliberative to strike the language that the chair said, I'm not speaking for you, I'm just saying why might someone do this, the immediately preceding article to most voters who haven't paid detailed attention is going to sound very similar. Roadway improvements, okay, so you all are hitting me up for a tax here, and now you want a registration fee. And given that this is the second one in line, are you at all concerned that voters might see a significant overlap there and vote against this one just because of that? Whereas, if it were made a little more specific and focused on the public transportation piece, maybe people might be more in favor of it?
Maybe, okay, but I think where we are is early this morning, we got step one of this done. Maybe it's step two. We got it on the ballot. Today, we started thinking about how we are going to present this in terms of the public through flyers, social media, all those things. And in that process, and at deliberative session, okay, we can deal with that issue that you're bringing up. What's over here versus here, and why is this? So we can deal with that. But I don't want this to go off the rails, and we really soul searched this very issue. You can ask the town manager. Last week, I called him up because we're starting to think about this, and ask him what exactly we had to do if we decided to try to change the article. And then we, person after person, slowly but surely, people started leaning, is this good or bad? Okay, and what we want to do is leave sleeping dogs lie on that. I think it's not a serious problem that we can handle, and I think, we're not going to be silent at the deliberative session. If it comes up, we'll deal with it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. But remember, we're trying to help people. We're trying to help people. That's what this is. Not a money issue. It's helping people.
Thank you, John. All right, so let's bring it back in for deliberations amongst ourselves. So first, I do want to say first, this is a money issue. This is an additional tax levied through vehicle registrations. So it is important that we do weigh in, that we do speak about it, and decide, that's why we're going to have our vote recorded on the ballot. Second, during different meetings and during deliberations, I've already heard 3 counselors, publicly say that, well, we can use this fund to fund other projects. Already taking a look at, we'll be able to use these monies for other projects. And that's majority. And the council is the body that the council members are the agents to expend this capital reserve fund. So that is a concern of mine. As this article is written, I cannot support it. I do intend on proposing the amendment at the deliberative session to constrict this language and bring it back to its original purpose. Funding CART, so that they're not asking for, so that one, easier to expand services in the futures, the monies are there, and they're not coming back to the taxpayers to raise property taxes. And it's been discussed why this is having the monies come from vehicle registrations. It's not just coming off of the residents who own property, but it's also coming off of, there's many vehicles, we have fleets of rentals that we can gain these monies from. So just, those are my thoughts. The rest of you, I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on the article as it's written now.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll be devil's advocate. It's my favorite role. So, in terms of the language, and I'm not going to talk long here, but I remember when we talked about at the original presentation of this, we talked about like how many people are using CART, how many registrations do we have, right? We were talking about how much money will this make, how much money do we need, right? And if I recall correctly, there was going to be an excess of money as part of that. It was going to be, we're gonna collect a lot of money by putting $5 on everybody's car registration. And so for me, if I think of myself as just a voter, I like this more if it does have the other things, because I don't use CART, right? Maybe I will one day. So I don't know, from a language perspective, I kind of like that it includes other things, because I think we're going to find that there's more money in there than really needed. And I would like an avenue to be able to use that money in the future.
Well, you're not alone in that particular.
Yeah, I mean,
came
Well,
up.
John,
And I'm
this
not-
is just,
Yeah.
we're just keeping it with the budget.
And
right
I'm
now.
not saying that that the intended purpose isn't the most important thing. It is. I agree with that sentiment that that's what this is supposed to be for. But I think all of the other context about how much money it will gain, and then I don't know, what if CART doesn't exist in 3 years? Like, I just think having more potential is just a more flexible approach in my mind.
You raise a really good question. Procedurally speaking, if CART doesn't exist in 3 years and there's no alternative, what would happen to this? This fee would continue to be perpetually levied until another warrant article repeals it?
So,
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
I mean, in fairness, it doesn't say CART in it.
Right, it's
Right.
But-
transportation. I'm sure that there would be other avenues that, should the service no longer exist, other services or similar services that would fill this void, and that these monies would be able to be used for those.
I also agree with Nicole, and I like that if I'm paying a tax, I may also be able to benefit for the tax. And the fees, you have to pay to use CART as well, so they are also paying for a portion of what they're using. it's $2, drop off, $2 for pickup. So if they use cart even twice, they've paid more into cart than I have. And with the additional language, I potentially could benefit from it too. But if not, it's $5. You know what I mean? So like, I like the additional language, quite honestly, knowing that at the end of the day, I may also benefit as well as cart. It's like a, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but if not, at least I've helped public transportation for the elderly folks in town.
Any other discussion? Alright then. Will someone make the motion to recommend Article number 22, establish municipal and transportation improvement fund under RSA 261:153 Roman numeral 6 and capital reserve under RSA 35:1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
I'm a no.
Nay.
And the chair votes in the negative.
Hold on, before you move on.
So that would be
That was a variety of
3-3-1.
votes. Pause.
Patrick was an abstain.
Mhm.
Joe, you were a
no.
no. Kate was a yes.
Yeah.
Was a yes. Rebecca, you're a no. Sarah, you were
No.
Oh no, everybody. And Ryan, you were a yay. Yay. Okay.
Alright,
Gotcha.
could you just read those off?
You want me to read it
Yeah,
by
just
name?
yeah.
Patrick was an abstain. Joe, no. Kate, yes. Me, yes. Nicole, yes. Rebecca, yes. Sarah, no. Ryan, yes.
I was a no. Sorry.
Oh, I have it in there as a no. Sorry, maybe I said.
Okay.
She said no, but she said
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. All good. So that's 3-3-1.
So it looks like, yeah, it looks like 3-2-1.
Yeah, 3-3-1.
No, 3-3-1.
331.
3 yeas,
Oh, there we
3
go.
nays,
Sorry, I
1
didn't click away
abstention.
from the cell. It didn't add it up.
No worries. All right. Thank you, John, for coming here tonight and being a resource for us and for us to be able to ask questions and for explaining.
I'm sorry.
So I just want to thank you for coming in tonight so
Yeah.
that we'd be able to discuss this with you. All right, moving on to Article number 23, reallocation of remaining funds appropriated for the High Range Road Water Supply Project. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 23, reallocation of remaining funds appropriated for the High Range Road Water Supply Project?
So moved.
Second.
Let's stay consistent.
Okay, so moved.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Alright, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The chair votes in the affirmative.
I just know taking notes is like, and pulling all this together is insane. So if you have at least something that's consistent, it's helpful from a secretarial perspective.
KB, yeah.
Also, I didn't want to break your track record.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Alright, so now we're moving on to Article number 24. Establish and fund Water System Capital Reserve Fund under RSA 35:1. Discussion?
Pretty crappy.
You made, it gets me, it got me again. It's good.
Well, as we heard last night, it's it's only a drop in the bucket, so to speak. So we're gonna have to. We have no way around it. There are people who have polluted water in town.
Yeah. Seeing no further discussion, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 24, establish and fund Water System Capital Reserve Fund under RSA 35:1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Chair votes in the affirmative. Article number 25, Fund Water Special Assessment District. Discussion.
Yeah, this to me this sounded, until one particular explanation last night, this sounded an awful lot like the town getting in the business of handing out loans, essentially. The part though that really gave me pause was, and I forget who said it last night, that the point here is that if you're an affected homeowner, you can take some money out of this to pay for a water system connection, and if you move in 5 years, the person that comes in after you continues to pay for that. So it's spread out over time, and so that makes me sort of thoughtful. Otherwise, I would not be in favor of the town handing out loans, given that people have to pay them back, etc. Right? But that I'm really thinking about. I'd appreciate hearing what other budget committee members think about that aspect of it.
I agree, and the other thing that I like about it too is it allows kind of almost like collective bargaining, right? So a lot of neighbors could all get together, say, we wanna be able to tie into the public water system, and everybody shares in the cost of that, rather than like me wanting public water, paying for the water to come all the way down the street all by myself, just so I can get it, and then everybody else gets to hook in out of something I paid for myself out of pocket. That way we all share in all of those costs equally. It makes it much easier to break that out, you know, for each different homeowner and stuff, so it's not just on one, it's on all, ideally. And it would be like, so like, let's say if I live on a street of 20 people, and 10 of us decide we wanna access the public water, and we all, our loans are all based off of 10 of us, if more people decide to join in, that means our loan amounts decrease.
That's not how we created that. A lot of communities do that. They run it
Yeah.
right down the street. The whole district pays for all the lines. This is far more narrowly focused.
Oh, okay,
So we're paying for what's going in the street through grants and things, at least we have been.
yep,
So that has nothing to do with that. It's from the curb stuff. So the edge of the property,
okay,
we're building that with all those grants and things.
Yep.
The line in the road.
okay,
It's from the edge of the property to your house.
okay, got it,
So right now, you have to go borrow money or pay whatever cash, and depending on how far away your house is from the road, whether you have ledge or not, you've gotta pay for that. And to Patrick's point, and I don't disagree with him, you know, it's a nice benefit to have it. The difference is these people, their water was contaminated by somebody else.
right, exactly,
Unfortunately, the state of New Hampshire drew an arbitrary line on High Range Road.
Yep.
So the people to the left are getting all that, and St. Cobain's paying for it. The people to the right, sucking wind.
yep,
And that's not really fair. They didn't do anything to deserve this.
Yep.
This was the negligence, or even worse, of a private company for profits that are, everybody else is suffering the penalty for that.
yep,
So I think that's why it's a little bit different. And I don't know of anybody else who's doing this. Special assessment district, like you said,
Yep.
hey, we'd like to have a sewer line and a water line on our street, we're all gonna
Yep.
pay for it, like you just said. That's the traditional special assessment district.
okay, got it,
This is a little bit different. So some residents will say, I don't wanna hook in, I'm good.
yep,
Other residents will say, I don't wanna do it now, but 2 years from now I wanna do it. Okay. So we give them that flexibility. Either they're gonna pay no interest or low interest, depending on how the council chooses to set it up. So they're using our money at no charge, but again, there's the public value in it because of the circumstances by which
Right.
we have it here.
yep, agreed, okay.
Yeah, and I guess the way I feel about the whole spread it out over 30 years, you pay for 5 years while you live, the next person
Yep.
pays for 25. Arguably, you could also amortize that if you sell after 5 years by rolling it into your home price. Hey, look, we're hooked up to town water, unlike the neighbor, that's why I'm charging you a little more.
Yep.
So generally, I'm kind of, I don't like the notion of the town getting into just handing out individual private loans at 0 or very low interest. We have better uses for the money. With the SAU office, I think it makes sense, because that's kind of one hand handing to the other. But here, I feel like people have other recourse.
Yep.
Nonetheless, it doesn't have a property tax impact, so.
Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 25, Fund Water Special Assessment District?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
I was an aye, sorry, I probably said that too quietly.
And the chairman votes in the affirmative. Just when you have those in there, Nicole, what was the final? You got it?
1 nay,
One nay, okay,
6 yay.
okay. Article number 26, Citizens Petition, Establish Capital Reserve Fund, Reverend Morrison Meeting House, Lions Hall. Discussion.
I will not support an warrant article that will use or a citizen's petition, I should say, that it's gonna use the undesignated fund balance.
Yep. Slippery slope, I don't really like that either.
Neither do I.
I also don't like that it's not enough money to do anything with the Lions Hall. You know, I, like Ryan, believe that the $3.4-ish million that it's going to cost is the real legitimate cost to bring it up to code.
Yeah.
I think taking money out of the undesignated fund and also partially, you know, using property taxes to pay for it, for something that we can't do much with, is not a good idea.
Exactly.
I'm gonna echo Nicole on this one and perhaps play devil's advocate. I am thinking a little bit, what if the voters do decide to pass the 3.3 whatever $1 million bond, we get that up to code, then there's no money to maintain that thing on an ongoing basis, which we all know is going to be needed. It's just something to think about, but then again, theoretically, if the $3.3 million bond passes, the work happens, then this could also be resubmitted in a future year by citizens to then start raising that money. But I'm just, like you, I'm trying to think of it, from that perspective.
Well, should Article 4 pass, it's going to take them time to even get to the point where, with the construction that needs to take place, planning, construction, during that time, I assume that would be worked into the budget
As an operating cost, yeah.
for FY28.
Yeah.
That's just my assumption. That's how I assume the town would proceed.
And if not, then it can still be another citizen's petition.
Correct. Any further discussion on Article number 26? Seeing none, can I have a motion to recommend Article number 26, Citizens Petition, Establish Capital Reserve Fund, Reverend Morrison Meeting House / Lions Hall?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
The chair votes in the negative.
Wow.
Alright.
I don't think the budget committee has ever unanimously voted no on anything.
No, we have.
Yes.
Oh, we
The
have?
library furniture thing.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right.
Oh, that's right, that was the one that got zeroed out at the delivery.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, seeing as Articles 27 and Articles 28, both citizens petitions, the council did not take a vote on them. No budgetary impact. We weren't asked. While the school board did say that we had the ability to, for their citizens petition warrant articles. Same thing was not forwarded to the budget committee. So there's something that we can do here for these two. So that concludes.
Hey, Joe, may I just speak on my?
Sure,
Right?
you're here. Yeah, come right ahead, Paul.
Thanks.
Public comment?
Yeah, can I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in the affirmative.
Thanks, so I just wanted to speak about, what is it, Article
Article
27? Okay. Paul Sklar, 20 Woodbine Drive. So as the article reads, as this petition reads, the question arises because recent state budgets have reduced or eliminated key revenue sources, forcing towns and counties to raise property taxes to maintain education, healthcare, county nursing homes, public safety, and infrastructure. And these shifts burden working families, strain local budgets, limit flexibility, and undermine long-term community prosperity. If you look at what's happened recently at the state level, today they're looking at, or this fiscal year 2025, they're looking at an operating deficit of $60 million. They're projected to actually surpass that deficit in FY 2026. So things are not going well from a budgetary standpoint at the state. There have been major cuts made to funding sources, many of which were primarily paid by large multinational corporations and wealthier individuals. One of the cuts, they eliminated completely the interest and dividends tax, which brought in $200 million per year to the state. That's gone. The business profits tax, which resulted in a loss of revenue that's estimated at about $1 billion over the past decade. That's gone. That money's just gone, never to be seen again. And this year, the state has already drained nearly 25% of its rainy day fund. So now our current lawmakers are proposing additional cuts to current state taxes, repealing both remaining business taxes, and while continuing, as Tiffany talked about, to fund the universal school voucher system, which is way over budget as well. So there are a lot of areas in which the state is really not, I think, practicing good, sound financial, practices. And I think that, so coming back to the town level, we kind of relying on the state also for funding. And to the extent that the state is not allowing those resources and those funds to maintain a certain level of integrity, to maintain funding at the state level, that certainly impacts our property taxes. And we need to be, so I think one of the things I'd ask you guys to do moving forward, I don't know if you've done that much this year, is to engage with our state legislators to talk about funding, because we have needs here in town. And to the extent that the state can help us with those needs, if they're reducing all of those various revenue sources, that money's not available for our town. So that means we have to pick up the slack, and that's what's been happening. So if we're trying to reduce property taxes for people, we need to make sure the state is taking on their share of the burden, so that we're not feeling it locally. And so I'd ask you guys to engage with Sherman Packard, to engage with all these legislators, to ask them, here are our needs, how are you guys gonna help us? And also to help them, to ask them to stop this continued reduction in state revenue sources that they've been engaging in over the past, really 10 years. So that's my ask of you. I understand you're not gonna vote on this, but I think we need to look at the revenue as well as costs. You guys done a great job in trying to trim costs. Fantastic. It's been excellent. But we have to look at the revenue side of things too, and that's really important because without revenue, you don't have a budget.
Thank
So-
you, Paul. And I'd say to the point of us engaging with our legislators, at, I believe it's our November meeting, we created the
Yes.
legislative liaison
Me and you.
position, and I think for our February meeting, maybe we have our first
Yeah,
report for that,
sure.
so that we can set the precedent of what that looks like for the incoming budget committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you again for coming tonight.
Good night, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Adrian.
All right, so that concludes the town warrants. Justin, do you have everything you need?
Believe so.
Okay, do you want Nicole, could you send what you have off to Justin?
Yeah, I'll clean it up a little bit,
Perfect.
and then I just scribbled a few things in here that I'll fix.
All
But
right,
yes, I'll send it over
okay,
tomorrow morning, is that okay?
okay, so let's. Which one is it? All right, so that concludes new business, old business discussion and review of the town Q2 financial report. So we all received it from Justin. I don't know, Justin, do you want to present it? Or not, Nick?
That's up to you guys. I can if you need me to.
All right. Let me pull it up. It's on here.
I don't think. I did. It's weird not giving us at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a quick and short version because we were here till pretty late last night.
Yep.
As you can see, we're trending on the good side in terms of expenses.
Yeah.
As I mentioned yesterday, and as I'll mention with revenues, I want to emphasize that some of these can easily get swayed based on one-time expenses such as debt service. I mean, we're way under, but we have a payment that's coming that we know, and that will be at 100% come year end.
Yeah.
So you don't really get to account for it in that aspect, as well as later on we'll talk about the gross appropriation aspect where it throws the numbers way off, which is why I tried to break it out to kind of give a more accurate reflection. So if you want to move down, or if you have any questions on this, by all means.
All right.
So in terms of the gross appropriation, you'll see here again, this is one where it becomes kind of a confusing to those that aren't used to it, where it looks like we overspent by 1.8 million, but we received 1.8 million in various grants and loans that was from a previous warrant article. However, because the warrant article was last year, you don't see the budget appropriated because it's allowed to carry forward in terms of that regard. On the other side, if you look, you'll see that we are 641, which is the rail trail. That was a warrant article last year. That we likely won't see that money or spend that money till next fiscal year. So you kind of get that, where if I were to put those in, all of a sudden you have an additional 1.2 million in expenses that
are accounted for but not in the actual budget because they were accounted for from the prior year's budget. That's allowed to carry forward. One of the few that are able to carry forward, where the general fund budget come July 1st, that all goes away. And revenues, going back to kind of one-time expenses, while we're trending high right now, and we will continue, you look at it and payment in lieu of taxes, we're at 31%. We know we're gonna get the airport one in May or June. We have another one we're coming as well, so we know that will be fully collected. And as I mentioned last night, the focus for my department, for me and Sarah, has been mainly on the budget and trying to keep things up. So interest on investments is one of the last ones we reconcile. We haven't reconciled it yet. Well, that's not true. We've reconciled a majority of it. There's 3 of our bigger accounts that we earn a significant amount of interest on that we haven't calculated December's in there yet. That's what she's working on today and tomorrow.
Okay.
So you can expect that number to increase, and I actually just spoke with some of our banking partners. We'll be putting in CDs to further increase the interest revenue that we'll be receiving the second half of the year.
Okay.
These are the other funds that we have, such as the enterprise and the revolving funds. This is essentially the revenues we've received versus the expenditures. For the most part, they either are positive revenue side at the year end, or they're net neutral. If you look here, you'll see the sewer enterprise is significantly higher, and that's for 2 reasons. One, we have a sewer bill coming out they're on different quarters, but we have a quarterly sewer bill coming out shortly that will bump that up, as well as we have various projects that they're currently working on for pump stations and things like that, where the fund balance is from that account is being utilized to have that, so you won't see the revenue because it's from the fund balance aspect.
Okay. And
I believe that is all.
that's all
Is
right.
there
Any
questions?
questions for Justin? Yeah.
Nice signature.
Thank you. I work hard on that one.
Yeah. You practice it a bunch of times in your early 20s and it just kind of sticks.
Still working on mine.
I still sign, so my maiden name is Kavanaugh. I still sign my last name with a B. It's like Babinaw, even though my last name is Burbage, because I just still do the Avanaugh. I just got so used to it. Yeah, anyway.
You've made up your own signature
Yes.
entirely.
All right then. Well, if there's no discussion or questions, thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Justin.
All right. So moving on. So continued discussion and initial drafting of the budget committee annual report. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock now. So, in the interest of getting us out of here soon, I've sent some examples of annual reports. I know some of you have been taking a look.
If you want me to take a stab at what you've sent out as an example and some of the things that Nicole suggested earlier today, I can pull something together and send out a draft by the end of the week, which we can review before Thursday next week, and then make any changes just to get it. I know we're all very tired and just
Yep.
getting us out of there quickly, so I will volunteer to do that if that's okay with everyone.
Or if you just want to do bullet points and then we can work. I
Yeah.
assume so. Next week's meeting, I just assume it's going to be a working meeting for the budget committee annual report, which we have to get done that night.
Yep.
And then strategic objectives, the strategic
Yes.
planning. So next week's meeting, no liaison reports. We're just going to be focused on
Yep.
getting those 2 items accomplished. So
Yep.
if you have thoughts, if you have suggestions, bullet points, whatever, email them to myself and Kate.
Yep.
And then we will
Pull them all
just
together.
next week, next Thursday, deal with it then.
I like that.
All right.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm
But
like, I
you've
want to go
done-
home. Whatever. If I have to do more work to
Yeah.
get us home early, I will do it.
I know, yeah.
All right. Other business?
No.
I have none.
No.
All right. Public comment. Can I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes in affirmative. So
Excuse me,
So
more
just
public
so-
comment?
Yeah, public comment, so just name and address and, there's a 5-minute limit for
Okay.
public comment.
John Wilson, Tranquil Drive. I simply want to understand the clarification. What I take from that vote, since it was 3-3-1, that you will not, at least as member of the Budget Committee, be talking about changing the, our warrant article at deliberative session. Is that correct?
So that is incorrect, so I voted no based off the language that was in there. I plan on making the amendment at the deliberative session. Should that amendment pass, as a committee, we will have to vote again.
Yes.
And if that language is changed, I will vote in the affirmative.
Say that again.
So the language that I had proposed to be cut, I probably already closed out of it. No, got it here. There we go, still highlighted. So that highlighted language, roadway improvements, signal upgrades and development of new bicycle and pedestrian paths. If that is successfully amended, the committee will then have to vote again on this warrant article because the language has changed.
Yep.
In that instance, I would be a yay.
What did you just vote on?
So we voted on our recommendations on this warrant article as is.
Okay, and it was 3-3.
3-3-1. Yeah.
Okay,
3-3-1, yeah.
so now you're going to vote on the modified one.
So only if the body at the deliberative session approves the amendment would we then vote again.
Correct.
And you're going to try to update the amendment.
Yeah. So that's, I've got my work cut out for me between now and deliberative session, or try and convince people that, to make those changes.
And Sean, quick procedural question,
Sorry, I'm
because
gonna
somebody
pause.
tried to hold my feet to the fire to this last year. If anything does change as a warrant article or the operating budget on the town side, do we have to post that we will be meeting after the deliberative session to vote on any amended warrant articles?
Every town does a little bit different. You're in session at that time.
Okay,
So what we'll do, is we'll just, while we're still in session before the meeting ends, we'll record the votes while we're all up there on the board. That way we
okay,
avoid
yeah.
discussion last year. Alright, back to you, John.
I'm done.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. Seeing no one else from the public, can I have a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, seeing no other business.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alright, tonight's meeting of the Budget Committee was adjourned at 9:03 PM. Thank you all for your hard work.